Hi guys, I'm Carla Ortega from Branigan Associates. I want to go over some immigration topics, and for Spanish speakers, para que sepan, vamos a hacer una cita de inmigración para todas las preguntas que tengan y cosas que no saben de inmigración. Le voy a introducir a Sean Branigan.
Thank you, Carla. As you may know, this law firm has helped thousands of people achieve various results, both in immigration, in criminal law, in business, and protecting people's wealth. One of the things I want to talk about today, the main thing, is immigration. In a post-Trump world, immigration is a very real issue. It's a hot topic. First of all, I just want to reassure all those illegal aliens that are listening, or all those that are out of status, you're not going to be deported. Yes, you have a small chance of being deported. However, there's 20 million of you. We don't have the resources to deport you. So I want to arm you with some tricks and some real solutions for each and every one of you. We're going to talk about the Genius Visa, known as the H-1B, for those of you with special skills. We're going to talk about asylum for those of you who are being persecuted for religious reasons or sexual orientation reasons. We're going to talk about extreme hardship, and we're going to give you some answers right here and now. Around this table is a group of very top-notch trial attorneys. Among them is my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Andre Woodson, who is our newest addition to the firm. He's not only a top immigration attorney and top attorney around New Jersey, but he's also a specialist in immigration, and that's a loaded word, but he's focused on immigration for many years. So that said, I want people to kind of understand, we're going to give you some overall tips, starting with asylum, and I want to introduce my man Andre Woodson to the microphone. Come on, Andre.
Good evening. First of all, everyone's immigration situation is different. No two people have the exact same situation. So the first thing you need to do is come in for an interview with us so we can assess your case. There are certain protections that you can have. For example, if you are a victim of certain crimes that have been committed against you and have worked with the police, there may be a remedy for you to stay in the United States if you're undocumented. In addition, if you are fleeing a country because of persecution based on your gender, religion, political point of view, there may be a relief for you under the asylum statutes. And there's other protections for people who, for example, have would deportation would present a hardship. Those people would have to show certain things that would make it very difficult for the people in their lives in the U.S. if that person was deported. We have a lot of experience with that, and there are just like I said, each case is individual. So you'd have to come in for a consultation so that we can discuss your situation with you.
All right, now, while I approach the microphone, I will tell you, and I want to close by honoring a couple of people in the room. Number one, we have a new attorney on set, Mr. Hooper, former clerk for the one and only Judge Petroli. Judge Petroli, we love you. One of our famous Essex County Honorable Superior Court judges. I also want to honor my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Edmund Bryak, another veteran of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, who gave birth to his first son, whose wife gave birth to their first son, William Bryak. So we welcome William into the world. And I'm going to introduce to you in a moment the firm's newest junior partner, Mr. Jason Steinberg. But just to digress just for a minute, we talked about asylum, we talked about H-1B, we talked about extreme hardship. Those are just a few grounds. But overall, I want to use this podium that I have to tell the world that we do have a solution for the immigration problem. And that is to give these people a Z visa. So talk to your local congressman and lobby for immigration reform. Whether you are pro-immigration or not, something needs to be done. I can tell you from my own personal experience, most of the people here are here to better their lives. And that's what America's all about. And so we welcome them here. They're already here, folks. If we let them register, we have the technology to do it cheap. We have Facebook. We could do a .gov where people will sign up. And we don't need new law. Under the Compliance Act for something called the Megan's Law, we don't need new law just to enforce Megan's Law, for example. We could require everyone sign in, say who they are, where they're from. And yes, if you're a convicted child molester, your ass might be going back to where you came from. However, for the other 99%, which have God in their heart, we love you and we want a solution for you and we're here to serve you. And we await a Z visa and a solution from the nearest executive branch member, whether it be Mr. Trump or whether it be the next man in line. We welcome the Z visa as litigators and as trial lawyers because deportation defense, folks, is not easy. And so on that note, I want to introduce my dear friend and colleague, Mr. Jason Steinberg, at your service.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Branigan Associates family. And we are a family here. I just wanted to make sure that we get on top of a few things. First of all, we have a very, very, very talented team here. We have great staff members. And when you hire us, you know, I hear people all the time saying that they got hired by another firm. Their lawyers didn't speak with them. Their file fell through the cracks. They missed deadlines. That does not happen here, ever. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you're assured that when you hire us, you're getting a lot for the money that you're spending. That's the first issue. Second, we also have these HB1 visas. If you haven't noticed, our schools in this country have a lot of problems, but for some reason our economy keeps growing and we're still #1 because we take all the best and brightest people from around the world and we poach them and bring them here. So if you need that type of visa, hell, we'll go right there and we'll go fight till the ends of the earth to make sure that you can stay. And just on one note, we do many areas of the law here. We are a very, very fast-growing firm. I really do think this is going to be one of the biggest firms in New Jersey in the near future. And one area that we do a lot in, just so you know, we do a lot of criminal law and drunk driving matters we do. So just on a side note, while we are talking about immigration, I just want to make sure people know, because a lot of people get this wrong. We get people coming in here who don't have any accidents, don't have any tickets, and then all of a sudden they get a DUI because they were taking medication. You're still driving under the influence. If you're taking medication, it affects your driving. So just keep that in mind. So coming back to immigration, again, we'll do your work for you. We do immigration, many other areas of the law, and we're here to serve you, right?
Now, while I approach the microphone, thank God I was blessed with a voice that only a gorilla mother would recognize. Now, that brings me to my closing remark, which is something of a hybrid type of practice. It comes up more often than you'd think, frankly. It's something called crimmigration, folks. Yeah, you heard it here first. And what that is when there's an overlapping between a criminal case and an immigration standing. So let's say, for example, you have a K1, K2, or K3, typical fiance visa, graduating into a green card through marriage, okay? And we do those here as well. One of the things that can go wrong is if you're convicted of a criminal offense. Now, the federal standard to avoid any kind of a conviction is what's called moral turpitude. Now, sheesh, a lot of people, what is that? Like the Constitution, it's very vague. However, usually simple possession and driving while suspended and the like, assault, simple assault, isn't enough. So don't be afraid. The worst thing you can do is put your head in the sand. So whether it's a speeding ticket and you're worried about your insurance, or whether you're a commercial driver, or whether you have a criminal case, let's prepare, folks. Prepare for the next Z visa. You heard it here with us. We have Andre. He came from a firm where he did only immigration. And I also want to call out Mr. Hooper. Mr. Hooper, and this is an impromptu, this is why we like live stuff, because it separates the phonies from the men. And one of the things that I like about Hooper is he's a young, athletic attorney, ready to run around, but also he's a great writer. He's not only strong here, but he's strong here. So on that note, here, come on, say something to your people.
Nice to meet everybody. My name is John Hooper. Two things that I've encountered since I've been practicing so far is one, real crazy identity theft situation. Make sure if you do lose your license or anything like that, you call up the DMV, you call up any credit bureau or anything like that, just to keep yourself safe. Because we've had a case here where someone has gone around giving a license to police officers during motor vehicle stops. Huge problem, costs thousands of dollars. The other thing that I've heard about here too is with some of the immigration situations. If you plead guilty to some crimes, make sure you know whether or not you are eligible to be deported because of your plea of guilty. So just make sure to always double check before you plead guilty. Thank you.
Jeb, you want to say anything?
Sure.
The new father.
When you guys close out, I just want to say that you speak Spanish.
Great.
All right, I'll talk about a couple of immigration issues that are near and dear to my heart. I think Mr. Branigan touched on one of them, which is the marriage and fiance visa, which my wife recently applied for. We can help you here with that. Another immigration issue is children. Sometimes some countries allow dual citizenship, but other countries don't, such as China does not allow dual citizenship. When a child is born, if the parents are from different countries, you have to pick whether the child is going to be an American citizen or a Chinese citizen. And if you have any questions or are confused about any of those issues, we can help you with that here as well. Is anyone else?
Frankie, come on. Come on, Frankie, man up. And then Carla's going to close on Espanol.
All right, everybody, Frank J. Divich here. Everyone's given some excellent advice. The only thing I would add to that is when in doubt, disclose. What this means is if you applied for citizenship, let's say in March, and you get arrested for possession of marijuana in July, obviously your citizenship application doesn't contain that. Now what's going to happen is you're not going to mention it, your interview is going to roll around, and they're not going to let you become a citizen because you didn't disclose. They're not trying to kick everybody out of the country. They're looking for the worst of the worst criminals. So if you have a minor possession charge, or you got caught with, petty theft, shoplifting, something like that, it's our job to make sure you stay in the country. And the first step to doing that is to disclose. You don't have to worry about them denying your application because of your one transgression. But not telling them about it is almost, in a sense, worse than, actually transgressing. So, when in doubt, disclose. All right?
A material omission can be just as bad as a misstatement. So be very, very careful when you fill out applications, especially to the government. You want to close in Spanish?
Yep. All right, and to close it out, we have our Spanish speaker, Carla, here to let everyone know
We have at least half a dozen Spanish speakers. We welcome our Spanish brothers and sisters here. So feel free to call us and we speak your native tongue, and that'd be our pleasure to serve you.
Ok, como han oído, hay muchas formas que pueden coger su ciudadanía aquí. Si ustedes tienen preguntas, la consulta siempre es gratis. Por favor, llámenos 973-744-2223. Tenemos mucha gente que pueden interpretar, so cualquier pregunta, si no pueden hablar directamente con un abogado, siempre tenemos paralegales para ayudarlos. Gracias.